you delivering for?
Man, that's for Starving Steve, man. Starving Steve.
Oh, yeah? Let me get all that shit. This what y'all delivering in?
Hey, hold on, man. Hey, look. I need everybody to share this video, all right? Look. Hartsville and Bishopville is not fighting. No, y'all is not fighting over this dumb shit. I'm gonna be out there like Black Youngster. I'm telling y'all with the 40, I promise you, I'm gonna be out that bitch. Shooting at everybody now. A bullet ain't got nobody's name on it. Now I'm shooting just so everybody can run, cause you know how black people is. So everybody share this video. A bullet ain't got nobody's name on it now. If y'all supposed to be fighting, I'm telling you, I'm coming out that bitch. And everybody running. Word. Share this shit.
Two men, both from the same small town as the victim, are currently being held in a detention center after being charged with murder and armed robbery.
Police in Colombia are investigating a deadly overnight shooting. Police say they responded to a home on Doctor's Circle last night where they found a 27-year-old man shot and killed. Investigators say they are still working to determine the motive behind the isolated incident.
Between those criminal charges and a dead body lies a camera, a YouTube interview, and years of street politics that were never meant to become public. This is the story of Big Cray, a 27-year-old rapper from South Carolina who grew tired of being labeled a snitch, chose to appear on camera to clear his name, and was shot and killed 13 days after that interview was published.
Who you delivering for?
Man, that's for Starving Steve, man. Starving Steve.
Oh, yeah? Let me get all that shit. This what y'all delivering in?
The complete truth about what happened is still making its way through the court system, but what is already known is more than serious enough on its own. Craven Harold Benjamin was born on April 2nd, 1997 in Darlington County, South Carolina. He was raised in Hartsville, a small city where people know one another's names, families, and personal business. That level of closeness can be a good thing when life is going smoothly. But when things take a bad turn in a town that small, there is nowhere to hide and no way to escape it. He graduated from Hartsville High School in 2015 and remained part of that community throughout his entire life. Those who knew him described him as someone with the kind of personality that naturally drew people in without even trying.
And I took his chain. And I took his chain. Look at him, right? Look at him, right? Look at him, right? He pussy. And he broke. Puss ass nigga, and I spit on him. Nigga, what you want, nigga? What you want, nigga? What you want, nigga? And I spit on him twice. Yeah, nigga, spit on him twice, nigga. Come on, nigga. It's one.
He had a loud laugh, a wide smile, and the kind of natural energy that made people want to be around him. He was the father of two children, Breelon Javian Benjamin and Aya Anastasia Bird. His mother, Harriet Horton, passed away in November 2020. By the time this story reached its most tragic point, Cray had already been carrying deep grief for years before any of this unfolded. Music was what he devoted the greatest part of himself to.
I come from the Ville, it ain't no option but to win. Cost some time, I did 4 years, I swear to God, it felt like 10.
He had been recording and putting out music under the name Big Cray since around 2014. His style was exactly what you would expect from someone who grew up in that part of the South.
Alright, man, me and my nigga Blizz gonna get a motherfucking sneak peek of some shit, man. We in the bed working.
Kill this shit, double HMG.
Don't get mad, man. This ain't a competition. This is what we do.
This is how we get on, man.
This is boy Cray, man. Double HMG. Got my nigga Blizz with me. 843. Stand up ain't never changing.
Niggas changing up, I ain't changing up. You ain't getting money, you can hang with us. Never been a bitch, never been a snitch. Heard you robbing, so we got a thing with us. Try to rob us, I'ma take your brain with us. I'm the target, so these niggas aim at us. And I got a family to feed, my niggas depending on me.
Lord, say, well, I'm finna fuck in the city, can't let these niggas go with me. I'm still tripping, come on, like nigga got to shit straight. That shit got me tripping, yo, bitch, you bitch tripping, studying.
Oh man, they got a way to hit her ass with. Fuck with that, man. Sure, man. Got none shit coming soon.
His music was raw, honest, and straightforward. In 2022, he released an album titled Sentence Served, a 13-track project issued through his own independent label, GSM Empire, where he was the CEO. Tracks such as First Day Out and Murder Anthem painted a clear picture of the environment he came from and the experiences he was writing about. He was never signed by a major record label, and his audience remained mostly regional. Even so, within his community, he had a loyal following, and thousands of people were actively keeping up with his work on Facebook. But to understand what happened to Big Cray, you also have to know who else was involved in the story before it took a deadly turn.
Look, into my dog away. I tell him what the fuck I'm supposed to make peace. I'm going through the grill cause I'm bringing the beat. Straight headshots, ain't shooting that feet. I put him down like he taking the seat.
The person directing the most negative energy toward Cray was his own cousin, a man named Brian Toney Up. He performed under the rap name Brizzo and was also a local rapper from Hartsville with his own background in those same streets.
So how long do you think it'll be before you're free again?
I actually got a couple more months left in prison, you know what I'm saying?
Couple more months? So what do you see yourself when you leave out of here in the time being from a couple months?
I see myself in Hawaii, you know what I'm saying, on a jet ski, you know what I'm saying, with 100 bands, you know what I'm saying, to play with, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see myself standing on top of a Lamborghini, you know what I'm saying, flexed up for the times I had to be locked up, you know what I'm saying, for the time they thought I wasn't ever gonna be shit. Like they thought I was gonna do my life in jail for a murder, but that's why I see myself in 6 months. Flexer, you know what I'm saying, showing how I'm really coming.
Yeah, so this really traumatized you, but you made it through it.
According to everything that was shared publicly, Brizzo was one of the most outspoken people spreading the claim that Cray was a rat. He said it openly on Facebook, and based on what was being circulated at the time, he even posted a screenshot revealing where Cray's daughter was staying. That crossed far beyond rap rivalry. Bringing a child's location into a street conflict is something entirely different, and it showed just how personal and how bitter the situation between the two of them had become. Another cousin was also involved, known as Trap Dicky, a local rapper from the same area who was caught up in the same family dispute.
Niggas start singing with a man like four bands. West side, I be with the Bloods and the low thing. West side, I be with the Cubs and the...
Cray was not facing accusations from strangers on the outside. He was facing them from members of his own family, and that is a far different and much heavier kind of burden to live with. The death that set everything in motion was that of Groderick Cortez Goodman, who was 30 years old when he was shot and killed on February 2018 on Noble Street in Florence, South Carolina. His name is an important part of this story, even though most online discussions about what happened to Cray rarely take the time to mention it. After Groderick Goodman was killed in February 2018, Florence police acted quickly and, within days, arrested 4 people on murder and conspiracy charges, including an 18-year-old and a juvenile. Then, on February 14, 2018, they announced a 5th arrest, and that 5th person was Craven Benjamin, who was then around 20 years old, charged with conspiracy and accessory after the fact to murder. It is important to clearly explain what those charges actually are, because that distinction matters throughout history. Conspiracy and accessory after the fact are not the same as being the person who pulled the trigger. Those charges do not require someone to have been the shooter or even to have been present at the scene when the killing occurred. They mean prosecutors believe the person was connected to the incident in some way, either by helping plan it beforehand or by helping cover it up afterward. Those are serious charges on their own, but they represent a fundamentally different level of involvement than committing the murder itself. Of everyone charged in connection with Groderick Goodman's death, the only person whose legal outcome became part of the public record was Gerald Ramel Green. who pleaded guilty to voluntary manslaughter in 2019 and received an 18-year sentence. As for Cray's charges from that same case, no conviction, plea, or acquittal ever appeared publicly. The case against him simply vanished from the record without any public explanation, which is actually common with lower-level charges in cases that are not major headline news. But that quiet disappearance was what sparked the controversy in his community. This is how people in the streets interpreted the situation. A man has his name connected to a homicide case at 20 years old, and then the charges quietly disappear without any public explanation. Around that same time, he also sat down for a full video interview with a local YouTube channel called The Family, specifically to address the snitching allegations on camera, explain his side of what happened in the 2018 case, and speak openly about the family conflict that had fueled the rumors for years. He presented screenshots of what he described as threats. He named names. He spoke about loyalty, about what it meant to have accepted charges for people who later turned around and called him a rat, and about the years he had spent living with a label that he believed had no basis in truth.
From the jump, it was this nigga always did some shit by the girl, bro. It was a baby mama drama back in the day that got this nigga locked up, yo. Straight up. Straightforward.
Man, that's crazy. May he rest in peace, man. So all this happened over some Pampers, a joke. Allegedly.
That been with the streets been saying since I was 10 years old, 11 years old.
How your family feeling about all that?
Shit, like, Marshall's so small, bro. You got niggas that try to stay out of it. You got niggas that's like, play both sides, you know what I'm saying? You got people that act like they rock with you that really don't.
Right.
You got some people in our family that just don't rock with the niggas, period. You know, a lot of niggas think niggas a joke, niggas the number one troll where we from. I'm just the first nigga to get on there and troll this nigga back and actually do damage.
That second clip matters because it shows what the situation within his own family was really like. The people closest to him were the very ones who viewed him as a joke, who were playing both sides, and who acted as if they supported him when they really did not. In an environment like that, speaking openly on camera and telling your side of the story is either the bravest thing a person can do or the most dangerous. In communities like the one Cray came from, the line separating those two realities is much thinner than most people outside that world could ever understand. The interview was published, immediately drew attention within the community, and according to the YouTube video the channel later released about his death, it spread quickly. The channel was careful in the way it presented the interview, pointing out that the information Cray referred to was already contained in public court records and making it clear they were not making any definitive claims about what happened in 2018. But presenting a story with care and controlling how people interpret it are two very different things. What many viewers took away from the interview was not that careful framing. Instead, they believed Cray had publicly spoken about matters that, in his world, were expected to remain unspoken, and that the people he identified by name were now facing a very public situation. Then 13 days passed after that interview went live. Everything changed. On January 22nd, 2025, at around 6 o'clock in the evening, officers with the Columbia Police Department responded to reports of a shooting outside a residence in the 100 block of Dr. Circle in the Colonial Park neighborhood of North Columbia, Richland County, South Carolina. The apartment complex is located off Marshall Street near Sunset Boulevard, a quiet residential area made up of two-bedroom townhome units that would not attract a second glance from anyone passing by.
A deadly overnight shooting. Police say they responded to a home on Dr. Circle last night where they found a 27-year-old man shot and killed. Investigators say they are still working to determine the motive behind the isolated incident. If you have any information that can help, call the police department or Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC.
The Richland County Coroner's Office officially identified him and ruled that his death was a homicide caused by gunshot wounds. Columbia police described the incident as an isolated event, meaning they did not believe it was random or part of any larger pattern of violence in the area. and said investigators were actively working to determine the motive. They also asked anyone with information to contact Crime Stoppers. During those first few hours, the official response remained procedural and straightforward, revealing nothing beyond the basic facts of the scene. Friends and family identified the victim as Cray on Facebook before police had officially released his name. By the time the formal announcement was made, the people who cared about him had already been living with the loss for several hours. The first arrest was made within days of the shooting.
Tonight, one man now in custody following a deadly shooting over the weekend.
42-year-old Marion Oates Jr. is now facing multiple charges, including murder. Columbia officers say that shooting happened Saturday at a home on Randall Avenue. The Richland County coroner confirms 50-year-old Edward Willis was found dead at the scene. Officers said that they are working to determine the motive for that shooting.
Columbia police have arrested a teenager accused in a fatal shooting last week. 19-year-old Nicholas Jackson is charged with murder and armed robbery with a deadly weapon, say police. According to investigators, last Wednesday, a 27-year-old man was found shot to death at a home on Dr. Circle. Police believe robbery may have been the motive. Jackson is being held at the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center.
Nicholas S. Jackson Jr., who was 19 years old at the time and from Hartsville, South Carolina, was taken into custody in late January 2025 and charged with murder and armed robbery with a deadly weapon. He was booked into the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center, where he was held without bond. He was not an outsider from another place, but someone from the same close-knit Hartsville community where all of this had been building for years. Following that first arrest, the investigation became quiet for several months, with no new public developments and no significant news updates. Then on August 5th, 2025, Columbia police announced a second arrest. Brandon Jackson, 25 years old and also from the Hartsville area, was charged with murder, armed robbery with a deadly weapon, possession of a weapon during a violent crime, possession of a firearm by a prohibited person, and criminal conspiracy. He was also booked into the Alvin S. Glenn Detention Center without bond. The August press release further stated that additional arrests in Cray's killing were still pending. As of early 2026, no additional arrests have been announced publicly. Both Nicholas Jackson and Brandon Jackson remain in pretrial custody. No trial date has been scheduled, and no plea agreements have been reported. All publicly available information about the case ends there, and both men continue to be legally presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. This is where the official account and the version believed on the streets begin to move in different directions, and that difference deserves careful attention. From the beginning, Columbia police have consistently described the case as a robbery-related homicide involving people who knew each other from the same region. That description has remained unchanged in every official statement. Not a single police press release, public court document, or official statement has ever mentioned snitching, informant activity, rap beef, or retaliation as a factor in the case. According to the people responsible for building the legal case, robbery was the motive. What many people online focused on instead was the timing. When the entire timeline is laid out, it is difficult to look at it without feeling the weight of it. The 2018 arrest, the snitch label spreading throughout the community for years, the cousin using Facebook to broadcast those claims, Cray finally responding on social media, the interview being released on January 9th, and then the shooting on January 22nd, 13 days later. Regardless of what the official record said, people were always going to connect those events. And because of that, the story spread far beyond South Carolina. One comparison that surfaced while this case was widely circulating was the 2021 killing of 19-year-old South Carolina rapper Paul Hartz, who performed under the name 18V and was shot and killed during a marijuana deal arranged through Snapchat in York County.
Statements are underway in the York County murder trial of Christopher Lamont McCullough. He's accused of shooting Paul Hartz, also known as 18Vino, an emerging rap star out of South Carolina.
Hartz was gunned down last January. So far, the prosecution and the defense, they're portraying very different pictures of who this 19-year-old rap artist was. So let's go ahead and bring in Queen City News chief legal correspondent Seema Iyer, who just stepped out of the courtroom to give us an update.
Yeah, so Seema, you watched the pretrial motion arguments, and there were some major rulings from the judge that kind of gives us a preview into how that trial will go, right?
A preview into an explosive trial, Annie. That is what I am expecting. To begin with, Paul Hart, aka 18 Vino, was really a star. He was about to go on tour throughout the country, huge on social media, and killed just 19. And get this, the judge ruled that he is not going to be able to be referred to as victim. That is right. And we've heard this on other high-profile trials, and that is when anybody refers to 18 Vino, aka Paul Hart, they're going to have to call him either the deceased or the decedent. Other big arguments this afternoon were about gang membership. The judge said, no, nobody's talking about gangs in my courtroom unless somebody opens the door to that type of evidence. And finally, some more insight, guys. 18 Vino wrote raps allegedly about robberies, and the defense wants to bring that in, but the judge says no to that, again, unless and until somebody opens the door and allows such evidence into the trial, guys.
All right, so it sounds like a lot of groundwork already being laid, but Seema, tell us about the jury makeup of what we know about that right now.
Okay, so I was not allowed to watch the jury being selected, and nor are we allowed to ever film a jury. But I will tell you this, from what I just saw inside, there are 15 jurors altogether. So that's 12 of the main jury, 3 alternates. Now, from the main jury, I do see that there's 1 black male. I say that as significant because the defendant is a black male as well as the victim. And of course, there's this co-defendant as well who's going to be testifying. And then there's just 1 woman who appears to be something other than Caucasian, but of course I could be wrong. So the bottom line is, of that 15, 14 people do appear to be Caucasian. And guys, just so you know, coming up at 6, I'm going to have a lot more on what this high-profile trial is about and what both sides are saying on their case in chief. Guys.
That case went all the way to trial and resulted in detailed public testimony from both sides, with the defense arguing that the victim and his friend had tried to rob the buyer first, while the prosecution argued the exact opposite.
Day 2 of the York County trial for the man who allegedly gunned down a rising South Carolina rap star, 18 Vino, is coming to a close.
The prosecution continued to present evidence, including law enforcement witnesses, forensics, crime scene photos, body cam footage, even a jail call made by the defendant, Christopher Lamont McCullough. Our chief legal correspondent, Seema Iyer, was once again the only television reporter in the courtroom. She joins us now live outside the Justice Center for an update here.
Yeah, so Seema, on the first full day of testimony, the jury got to hear from McCullough. What was the juror's reaction to that jail call we mentioned? What did he say, and were there any bombshells that we need to know about in court today?
Oh, it's just like my reaction, Annie. Every time I hear jail call, I just sit up straighter and my ears perk up, as did the jury. And it did not disappoint. McCullough called someone, we don't know who he called, but he did call collect. And I couldn't hear everything, but I did make out that McCullough did say to this person, quote unquote, they're trying to trick me. He also said that that someone had done a search warrant to do a mouth swab on him. And then finally, he said something about on Snap, which I inferred to mean Snapchat. And he told the person to change my password. The judge even allowed this to be played twice. And just so all of you know, usually when a search warrant is done for a mouth swab, that is to get DNA evidence. And we are expecting expecting DNA evidence in this case. Now, another bombshell is that we saw body camera footage, and also something that jurors always want to see. And this body camera footage was from Detective Tripp right after the incident. I believe it was in front of the hospital, and the young man that you see talking, young black man, is Khalil Robinson, and he is a co-defendant who is not on trial. But in this video, he's telling Detective Tripp about what happened, what he saw, and about his friend, 18 Vino Paul Hart, and he said, hey, he's dead. And it was really chilling, and it was tough to watch. Couldn't understand everything, so that's why I'm just trying to narrate for the viewer.
The jury returned a verdict of voluntary manslaughter instead of murder, and the man who was convicted received a 12-year sentence. What that case showed is that acquaintance-based robberies within South Carolina's rap scene rarely appear straightforward from any perspective, and the truth is often buried beneath conflicting accounts that only come to light when a case goes to trial. Big Cray's case has not reached that point yet, and until it does, many of the most important questions will remain unanswered. Do you think Big Cray snitched? Let me know in the comments section.
Let's go. I fuck with a shot at, and she don't know. She had my Big Cray. See, I fuck with Lil' Shawty, I even caught feelings, but she done start asking about the past. Yeah, she got a friend I done hit, I ain't lying about shit, I forgot it, I made her mad. Girl, you on your shit, you wanted to get it, so I don't even know why that make you mad. Girl, why you so thick? What you paid for that ass? Did you fucking with a nigga only cause it got cash? Would you fuck with a nigga if I was down bad? Would you fuck with a dog if I ever fall off? As you go stay silent, let the feds come in town trying to find me, girl, please stay quiet, don't talk, girl, please don't fuck off none of my ops. Please don't fuck off none of my bros. I need you to make sure this money keep going and flowing. Gotta handle my load. Hey, gotta handle my plays. No matter how far you gotta go, baby, handle that load. Hey, and all money ain't good money. It's to play acting funny, baby girl, don't go. I said all money ain't good money. If a nigga look bummy, baby girl, don't go. And even still go, girl, take that pole. He try to take it, gotta handle my load. Hey, gotta handle my plays. No matter how far you gotta go, baby, handle that load. Hey, and all money ain't good money. It's to play acting funny, baby girl, don't go. I said all money ain't good money. If a nigga look bummy, baby girl, don't go. And even still go, girl, take that pole. He try to take it and take his soul. Go. I pull with a shot at, she don't know. She had my Big Cray. See, I fuck with Lil' Shawty, I even caught feelings, but she done start asking about the past. Yeah, she got a friend I done hit, I ain't lying about shit, I forgot it, I made her mad.